Hi YouTube and welcome to my channel. My name is Patrick. A lot of people say that Linux doesn't get malware. Well, that's not true. In fact, it's very easy for you to collect your own kind of library of Linux malware. And the way to do that is to set up a honeypot on the public internet that will basically allow anybody to connect to it. And what'll happen is bots will connect to it, and then they will upload the malware that they try to execute. So, in order to do this, you're going to need a Linux server that's exposed to the public internet. That is what we have here on the left-hand side. This is hosted on Linode. The thing about this is before you go in and start doing stuff like this, make sure the hosting provider that you're using is okay with it. In my case, I actually emailed Linode support, and they gave me a special security researcher account. So before you go doing security research on a platform, make sure that they're aware of it and that you're not breaching their terms of service. So here we are connected to my server on the public internet. We're just going to first change the default port SSH listens on, because obviously we want our honeypot to be listening on the default SSH port, so we need to change the one we'll actually use to something else. That's very simple. We're just going to vim etc ssh sshd config. And then down here where it says port 22, we're just going to go into insert mode, and we're going to change that to 2223. So we'll write that change. Okay, and then we're just going to give it a reboot. I need to do that anyway. Okay, and we'll just type in the password. Okay, and then before we get started, I'm just going to update the apt package manager real quick, or rather update the repo. And then the first thing that we're going to have to do is install all of these dependencies. So I'm just going to paste that in and let it install. 300 megs should go pretty quick. And then the next thing we need to do is actually add a user that the honeypot is going to use to authenticate. The reason for this is you don't want to be running the honeypot as root, because obviously that gives root access to the host system, which is the opposite of what we want to do. So we're just going to leave that all on default. Yes, it's correct, and we've created a new user, Calorie. Now we're going to switch to that user, and next we need to get the code that's going to run the honeypot. So we'll just paste that in, and it'll clone the Git repo. And then we need to navigate into the Calorie directory. Very simple. Now next we need to set up the virtual environment. This is where it gets a little tricky because in the documentation it says Python, but we're actually needing Python 3. And as you can see, it says that it needs this right here in order to do it. So we're just going to exit out of our Calorie user, back into root, install that. Then switch back to our Calorie user, go into the Calorie directory, and now if we copy this again, we should be good to go there. Perfect. Okay. So next we will need to activate the Calorie environments. Very simple. Just paste in that command, and now we're in that virtual Python environment. Next thing we need to do is install a couple more pip dependencies. So again, we're using Python 3. Very simple. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one. Perfect. Okay. And now we need to edit the Calorie configuration file. So that's going to be in /etc, and then list the files in there. So we need to make a new one, cowrie.cfg, and then we're going to edit it. And we're just going to say SSH in square brackets enabled equals true, right? So that's going to tell it that we want to listen on SSH. And then we need to start cowrie. So to do that, we just copy this command right here. We're one directory too deep. There we go. Okay, so in theory that's working. But the next thing we need to do is actually set up IP tables so the host system will redirects traffic from port 2222 to 22. So we're just going to open a new terminal, and we're going to SSH into our server again as root. Helps if I get the IP address of the server correct. And again, we're going to make sure we're connecting over the port that we set. In my case, 2223. Okay, and now that we're in, all we have to do is copy this command right here to set up IP tables to forward traffic from there we go, to forward traffic from port 2222 to 22. So now if we exit, and then just going to get rid of my known hosts file there to make this easy. Now we should be able to SSH into that server, and this time over port 22. Yeah, we'll accept the key. And then if we enter just any old password, you will see we are now in the honeypot. So here in the honeypot we can, run commands, and it looks like a full-on. See, there's a user in there, so fill, and then we can create a file there. See, vim's not found. Yeah, so you can see a lot of stuff isn't actually going to work in here, but the idea is, at this point, we're going to have connections coming in from all across the globe, and they're going to be attempting to log into this server, which will be successful with any username and password, or sorry, it'll be successful with any username root with any password, and then these bots are going to upload the malware that they come with. And yeah, we'll be able to collect our own little library of Linux malware and do whatever with it that we so please. If you're interested in seeing what malware I'm able to collect while doing this, definitely subscribe so you don't miss that video coming up next. I'm looking forward to digging into the world of Linux malware, showing you how it works, what these attacks are like. I think you're really going to enjoy that video. So again, if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe down below. And my name was Patrick. I hope you found this video informative or interesting. And just so you know, I don't take sponsors. I don't monetize my channel. I'm doing this all for the subs and the likes. So if you are interested in this kind of content, leave me a comment down below. Again, sub to the channel. Even leave a like on this video. And yeah, we'll make more like this. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.